Hello and good day. Presenting motivational and inspirational quotes from one of the most loved pastors in the world, the late Reverend Billy Graham. Here are now 30 quotes from Billy Graham on addiction. Let's get started now. Number 1. Wine is a mocker, strong drink is a brawler, and whoever is led astray by it is not wise. Proverbs 20:1. Number 2. Some of the most heartbreaking letters I receive are from people who tell how alcohol or drugs have ravaged their lives and destroyed their families. Number 3. Each generation becomes more addicted to the sedatives of life, to dull the pain of living. Number 4. The Bible condemns the use of any substance which alters or distorts our thinking, including alcohol, which was the most common drug in ancient times. Number 5. When the headlines get black and foreboding, the sale of alcohol and barbiturates rises in the country, as millions try to escape from the grim realities of such dangers. Number 6. Many people turn to alcohol to try to drown the cries and longings of the soul. Others attempt to quiet the longings of their souls in other ways. Nothing but God ever completely satisfies, because the soul is made for God. Number 7. Some years ago I was invited to be on a television talk show with one of the most famous personalities in America. Afterwards she took me aside and told of the emptiness in her life. "My beauty is gone," she said. "I am getting old, I'm living on alcohol, and I have nothing to live for." Number 8. One of the most conspicuous modes of escape is alcoholism, which is now a national catastrophe. Number 9. This self-confident generation has produced more alcoholics, more drug addicts, more criminals, more wars, more broken homes, more assaults, more embezzlements, more murders, and more suicides. It is time all of us begin to take stock of our failures, blunders, and costly mistakes. It is about time that we place less confidence in ourselves and more trust and faith in God. Number 10. Escapism seems to be the order of the day. Escape with drugs or alcohol, and the bitterness of living will be blurred. We can't escape from God. Number 11. Researchers have found that peer pressure exerted within a clique has caused every one of its members to experiment with drugs, to engage in murderous gang fights, to steal autos, and to violate the 7th commandment. Number 12. Liquor is not necessary either for health or for so-called gracious living. It is the cause of untold sorrow, suffering, and material loss, not to mention the spiritual implications of drinking. Drunkenness. This Greek word means overindulgence in alcohol. Number 13. Alcohol may be used for medicine, but it can also become a terrible drug. The way it is used in our world is probably one of the great evils of our day. It is a self-inflicted impediment that springs from a man taking a drink taking a drink, and drink taking the man. Distilled liquors as we have them today were unknown in Bible times. Number 14. In Houston, Texas, a man was born again in one of our meetings. He owned a liquor store. The next morning he had a sign on the front of his door saying, "Out of business." Number 15. Drinking has become one of the most serious social problems. It is basically the result of an attempt to escape from the responsibilities and realities of life. Number 16. A senator once confided to me that the greatest need in Washington was the elimination of the cocktail party. He said, "It consumes so much of our time that we don't have time for matters of state." Number 17. Volumes could be written on the problem of drug addiction. Millions of barbiturates are swallowed every night to help the nation sleep. Millions of tranquilizers keep us calm during the day. Millions of pep pills wake us up in the morning. The Bible warns that these flights from reality bring no lasting satisfaction. Number 18. The Greek word used in the New Testament to designate a sorcerer or a person who practiced occult magic is pharmakias, or one who mixed drugs and used them to induce spells. Such practices are included in the list of acts of the sinful nature in Galatians 5 verses 19 to 21 that God will judge. Number 19. Many people are trying to steady themselves by taking tranquilizers. Jesus is the greatest tranquilizer of all. He can straighten out your life and put you back on center. Number 20. One of the characteristics of some drugs, such as cocaine, is that they make a person feel strong and alert, when in fact the opposite is the case. Don't allow yourself to be deceived. Number 21. Among young people, drinking is for getting drunk. Many go on to become alcoholics. Number 22, drunkenness is not a new vice. Its ravages have always been a scourge on the human race. Alcohol is a killer, a murderer. Number 23, thousands are killed and injured every year by teenagers driving too fast or under the influence of drugs and drink. Others are killing themselves with alcohol or heroin overdoses. Number 24. In Christ alone there is deliverance from man's tortured thoughts and freedom from the sordid habits which are destroying so many people. Why does the Bible so clearly denounce drunkenness? Because it is an enemy of human life. Anything that is against a person's welfare, God is against. Number 25. Do not seek solace in alcohol. Alcohol obscures good judgment and leaves you unable to think clearly or understand what God is trying to say to you. Number 26. What began as an apparently harmless pastime has ended up as a frightening, overpowering addiction or obsession. Number 26. What began as an apparently harmless pastime has ended up as a frightening, overpowering addiction or obsession. Number 27. Some young people are taking pills called heaven or hell, drugs, because you're liable to experience either one. Number 28. Drinking and other forms of body-wrecking pleasures are signs of weakness rather than manliness. It takes a better man to live a clean life, free from the stimulants, depressants, and drugs, than to be artificially stimulated. The cult of self has become an addiction, feeding off the ego of self-glorification. Number 29. The word cult encompasses many movements and ideas, but simply put, it describes a culture of alternative beliefs, fads, and trends, and tampers with just enough truth to knock many off balance. Number 30. There is hope for the alcoholic. God is able to deliver from this as well as any other addiction.